Hello comic book fans, here's Earl Grey. Today I have a real Don Lawrence extravaganza for you. And that is, I want to show you my Trigan books so far as they have been published. There are 5 of them. And I want to show you real quick after that fanzine of Don Lawrence fans from 1991, and below that a quite thick volume with pencil art from Don Lawrence. But starting with Trigan, there are 5 books have been published in Germany. And I think just the covers alone are intriguing enough to pick up these books. Don Lawrence art is quite spectacular, and this years before Storm. And actually much reminds me of Storm. The world building, the exotic characters, but in the same time the medieval settings that are remind us of some kind of Roman Empire-ish regime. And this combined with modern techniques, futuristic designs from that time, which look pretty retro today, of course. These futuristic designs clash against old-fashioned Roman Empire stylings like that, and narratives of the old wise man and the sage leader of the Trigan nation, and shown in lush colors. The color reprint qualities of the production values of these books are amazing. I was a bit iffy about the first volume for whatever reason, but it picked up quite a lot, and I don't have anything to criticize right now with these books. They are fantastic looking, and the stories are still gripping, even though they are, quite frankly, very simple stories aimed at teenage boys who love their Roman Empire and who love their future stories as well, and who love dinosaurs and exotic looking characters and stuff like that. Like the Storm books from the other German publisher Splitter, these Panini editions came with an enormous bonus section and bonus material, as you can see here. It's really pulp fun, if you will, with lots of special ideas and fantasy elements, and it's just fun. Even though they took their time here by this German publisher and write always quite not so short summary and some thoughts about the previous stories, where you You can see that. But the stories written by one Mike Butterworth are really so amazing, to be honest with you. Wait, I want to show you that guy, Mike Butterworth. Who started writing The Rise and Fall of the Trigan Empire since 1965. This is John Michael Butterworth. He died, unfortunately, in 1986. And that's Don Lawrence, the artist. Although I like to say it again, these stories are fun. Nevertheless, they are not very original or very cleverly told or something like that. Something I get the sense that European comics are expected to be, something that you just can read with a wine in the right temperature and a pipe in your mouth and stuff like that. No, these stories are really pulpy, actually, and the caption boxes are, like in many of the old school comics, really superfluous. Also, sometimes I don't even read them. It's totally sufficient to read the speech bubbles to follow the story most of the time. Maybe you skip a minor detail or so, but that's not really the problem. And if you are sensible to political correctness, if this is something that disturbs you, if a comic that is almost 50 years old has not our high moral standards, then you can't pick up these comics as well, because PC they aren't. You can simply forget about that. Okay, these guys aren't black or yellow or whatever you want, but there's an underpinning racism against green, blue, or whatever guys, even though there are some good ones, but they are just the exceptions that underline the rule. And there's this sage and intelligent and just emperor Trigan, and it's a hierarchic regime, actually a dictatorship, if you want, and that we are seeing here. Women aren't involved in any sort, with some exceptions here and there. They can go to the market and they can cook the meal, and that's it. But else it's a man's world. All a man can fly these cool rocket ships and planes and stuff like that, and men kill each other with a sword, and it's a very simplistic world. And if you take it one-to-one, you will have problems to enjoy this. But I read this as a young teenager kid. Maybe I was 12, and I'm always joking around that I will stay 12 forever. That's my year, and so I don't have any problem with some moral ambivalencies in this in these comics. And somehow my brain turns off when I can see this draftsmanship from Don Lawrence, and I just dive into these stories and forget about everything. Anyhow, the stories about the Emperor Trigo and his family, his ruling family out of almost just male members, will be continued, and I'm quite excited for the next issues. There's lots and lots of books to come. This oversized floppy here, Pandavi, is a fanzine from the year 1991. It's the second one of these, and I got it from eBay. Some more or less interesting things, along with a reprint of an early Don Lawrence story about a Viking, Eric, in black and white, and some informations about the master himself, a quite superfluous reprint of one of his stories, even though this is the eye-catcher in these magazine, but you already have this story in a whole if you are a Don Lawrence fan, I guess. And there's an interview with Martin Ludewig, who wrote lots of the Storm stories, and that's almost it, I guess. Some news, some quiz. Yeah. Nothing too spectacular and nothing too recommendable, but if you're a Don Lawrence fan and you can get this for cheap, why not? On the other hand, quite recommendable, Storm, Das Vermächtnis, The Heritage, put out by the German publisher Splitter. It's an art book with pencils from Don Lawrence. And I think you can get something out of it, even though if you can't speak any German, because it's all about the art, and Don Lawrence art speaks for itself, I think. Yes, there's really some nudity in here, but I don't know. It's not much more, not more nudity than you find in a school book for biology for the 5th grade or so. And so, if you are inclined to be offended by the depiction of nude bodies, maybe this book isn't something for you. I like this quite a lot. This combination of a bit more finished artwork and real unfinished raw sketching. Yeah. This is some kind of book where I just can flip through and show you every page, and it's all pretty spectacular. Or at least fun. And you got quite a number of these drawings. Lots of eye candy, funny stuff. Poignant portrayals of mad scientists and all the stuff Don Lawrence needed for his space operas. Oh, look at this head here. Yeah, okay. And lots of ladies, obviously. Don Lawrence liked to draw women, and who couldn't understand it, or who can't understand that? There was a comic from Don Lawrence, Carrie. Must be some kind of erotic cheesecake thing. I don't own, but maybe sooner or later I get my finger even on this book as well. So, This is a nice tome, highly recommended, and thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.